Heidi ho there, friends and neighbors. Bobby here today. Hey folks, today I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of woodworking, okay? A little bit of staining, a little bit of sanding, a little bit of staining, a little bit of polyurethane, okay? So let me show you what we got here. We have this piece of wood, okay? It's an oak board. Actually, it's got like a little angle cut on it. What this is for is to go on the interior side of a door opening to kind of help get over the threshold with a wheelchair, okay? Gives it just a little extra something there. We are going to stain this and urethane it and actually install it at a job site that I'm working on. Now notice that we do have some saw marks right here that we're gonna have to sand out of here. I took this down to Dad's house and we cut this angle on just the other day. Now I'm gonna finish sanding up this board and getting it ready for stain and urethane. So stay tuned guys, I'll show you how we get it done. Okay folks, hey, we're getting ready to start sanding on this thing. What I have here is my DeWalt orbital sander. I've got a piece of 60 grit paper on here right now because we want something pretty coarse on here to go ahead and cut these saw marks and these saw burns out of here. And we want to get this nice and straightened up. We also want to put a little radius on this edge here. We want this to kind of, from about this point here over, we want to put a little radius there. We want a little radius on this corner here and a slight radius on this front edge, okay? Bottom edge will stay flat because we want it's going to be up against the floor. Of course, the back edge is going to be against the threshold on the doorway. So I'm going to get busy. We're going to do this on the fast speed and we'll get this knocked out for you. Okay folks, hey, with a little bit of sanding there, and it made it look a lot easier because we've had it on that fast speed for you. As you can see, this piece is looking pretty good here. Now remember, this is 60 grit, so this is still a little rough, but we got all them saw marks taken out and those saw burns are removed. And we put a slight little radius on our cut here to kind of make it even transition a little bit more too. So we've got the shape of it about like we want it now. We're going to continue on with the 60 grit, radius this side here a little bit, and of course this side here too. And we'll put just the ever slight chamfer on the front edge of it as well. And then we'll be ready to move on to a little bit finer grit paper. So let's get this going. Alright folks, I've got this thing generally the shape that I wanted. If you'll look on this side here, we got it kind of slightly angled this way. It's kind of radiused. Of course we have this radius all the way from this edge. We kept it 90 degrees up here where it's going to go up against the door jamb. And then we slowly transitioned it into a nice little radius. Radius the end here, radius the front of it. Same thing over here, and we just kind of eyeballed this angle. So we got both sides about the same angle, and that's all we're looking for. There's no particular angle, it's just something that kind of looks like it's radiused a little bit, but we just want both sides to look kind of the same. So now all this is done in 60 grit. We want to transform this over to the next grit I have, I believe it's 120, maybe and finish that with some 220. So we're going to go ahead and do that and get this a little bit slicker, and then we'll start talking about how to get it ready for stain. Hey guys, I got some 220 here. I think we're just going to go ahead and take her on home with the 220. So I'm going to go ahead and put a piece on here. We'll probably get by with just one piece, but I got a couple extra in case I need them. We're going to put this thing back on time lapse, and we'll go ahead and get this thing sanded up. Okay folks, we got that board pretty slick now. It's looking pretty good. I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but I think we're good enough for government work there. What we're gonna do now is take us some pre-stain conditioner and we'll go ahead and install this, and I'll talk a little bit about why you want to use the conditioner before you stain a piece of wood. All right, folks, we got it pretty slick, and we've wiped everything off and wiped our board here off. We got all the dust and everything off of it. And we just wiped our piece down here, and we're about ready to install some of the conditioner, okay? And the reason that you want to put a conditioner on wood before you stain it is sometimes wood will take stain in a different way, okay? And actually, if you look here on the front of the, let me see if I can get the front of this can right here in front of you where you can see the demonstration on here. You'll see that there's two little blocks here. This one here shows what it could look like if you stain something without using stain block. You'll see it looks kind of splotchy. How stains sometimes will take, or the wood will sometimes take the stain in an irregular way, okay? Now over here, you'll look, it looks more evenly, okay? This little section here demonstrates that that piece of wood had some pre-stain conditioner on, okay? So that's the reason that we're gonna put this on here today. And we'll put it on here, let it dry for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and stain it right after that, okay? So I'm gonna kind of shake the can up a little bit. Take a screwdriver here and pop the top on it. And then we will, let's see, we'll move it over here right quick. Guys, what I have here is just it's a lint-free rag. I had a little small one and I cut it in quarters, okay? But some of these edges here still can leave some of this lint here. So I'm gonna use this actually for this and for staining. You see some of the stuff's falling. So what I wanna do is kind of fold it that way, kind of fold it that way, where all this here will stay tucked under. And then we're just gonna use like this corner here to install this conditioner. And we'll do the same thing on the stain as well. So let's go ahead and do this right quick. Let's see if you can see me in the camera here. I believe you can. Here's our can of good stuff here, pre-conditioner. We'll go ahead and dip our rag in here. We'll let it soak up all that goodness right quick. Kind of like a piece of bread soaking up butter. I tell you what. And we just want to get a nice even coat of this stuff all over this board, okay? We don't want runs or anything like that. See how you can tell where you put it at. Actually, that right there kind of turns it a nice color, don't it? We just want to put a nice even coat of this stuff. Let me dip it back in here one more time. I'm going to put it on this end here. Make sure we wrap it around this corner good. Come all the way around that front edge good. Just want a nice even coat. No runs. And then we're going to come down here, we're going to dip it one more time in here and do this end as well, okay? And then we're done. And we're going to let this sit for about 25-30 minutes or so. And then we'll be ready to put our stain right over top of it. I think I saw some guy in a video talking about this one time. You don't want to let this stuff sit on there too long. You don't want to do it like today and then stain it tomorrow, okay? There's a little bit of a time frame in there. You want to stay within that time frame, I guess, for good adhesion properties or maybe just to where it helps to make the stain look more evenly, okay? All right, so guys, we're gonna let that sit for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then we'll get to staining. So stay tuned. Okay, 30 minutes has passed by, folks, and now we're getting ready to stain this piece of wood with a wood stain, and the color is red mahogany. We have found that to be a close match to some wood flooring that we actually installed, some Allure flooring at this house that I'm working on. This here is almost like a perfect match, okay? So we're gonna shake it just a little bit here. We're gonna go also open it. And then we're also going to take a little piece of oak trim here, stir stick, Make sure there's nothing on the bottom there, and it actually feels pretty good. Sometimes if you have some stain that's like sat around for a long time, you may have to really stir it up really good, because it'll get some of the components down there on the bottom of the can. But this one actually feels pretty good. This is relatively new, we just purchased it. So now what we're gonna do is, just like we've done before, we're gonna take a piece of this rag here, okay? And guys, I recommend using some latex gloves, but I don't have any with me here today, so I'm just gonna try to be super careful. Hold all that inward like that right there. We're gonna get a hold of this, and we're gonna dip that down in there, and we're gonna stain this. We're gonna get her done, baby. Hey, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Just for the, I'm gonna do on the back side of this, I'm gonna stain this a little bit. I'm gonna see how it takes the stain, just for a test, okay? To see if this conditioner that we put on the front actually made any difference with this particular piece of wood. We'll just simply go straight down, just like so, okay? Just like so. Actually, this looks like this is taking it pretty good regardless anyway. And that's the way it is with most woods. It will take the stain pretty good. I'm gonna go and wipe off the excess and just see what it looks like here. This is the side that we did not treat, okay? And as you can see, it looks like it took it pretty good regardless, okay? And most woods will, but there will be a time where you'll go to stain something. If you don't use that preconditioner, buddy, you're gonna know it, okay? I'll tell you what, while I'm at it here, I'm gonna go ahead and just stain all of this, okay? I'm gonna stain both sides, everything really good. Although this is not gonna be seen, I am gonna go ahead and stain it. Might as well. We got plenty of stain here, and this is all we're gonna be using it on. Get in a little practice here, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and just, nice little coat on there. Come down this edge here that'll never be seen. We'll go ahead and coat it anyway. Nice little coat stain on there. Grabbing it with my hands, so I know I'm gonna have some stain on my hands, fingers here, before this is all said and done. All right, so we got all them spots there. I'm gonna go ahead and do this edge here right quick. Can't see if I got that good enough. Yep, that's good right there. I'm gonna get that. Let's go over here on this edge. Let's get this edge here really good. All right, I'm gonna set this little rag here down for a moment, okay? But we're gonna pick it right back up and reuse it on the other side. Now on this back side here, folks, I am going to go ahead and use this other one here that I just wiped off that excess with. And I will wipe off the excess on the back of here, because I want this to dry extra fast. Okay. I love the way this is taking the stain. This is looking really good. Take it really nicely. Okay. So now we've got the excess off of there. We're going to roll this piece on over. This is the purty side, the side that we need to be staining anyway. So let's go ahead and get our little stain rag here one more time. Dip it down in our stain. And we are going to put a nice coat of stain on here. I'm going to go ahead and put a generous coat on here. And we'll wipe off any excess here in a moment. Looks like it's taking it really nicely. I'm just going to turn it up on its edge here. We want to make sure we get this front edge here really good, okay? Because that will be seen if we don't. And I'm going to look on this edge here one more time just to make sure we got it good, and we do. Look at all these areas here that possibly can be seen. All right, so that's looking good right there. Go ahead and coat this, finish, dip it back in there one more time. And get a nice even coat on here. Okay. Guys, I will tell you this, typically with stain, in my experience, you leave it on there, 2, 3, 4 minutes or whatever, wipe off any excess, and it'll actually lighten the color, okay? Like right now it looks this dark, which actually is about like I want it. I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you wipe, okay? If I was to wipe everything down really good, you see how that's lightening up that color on here, okay? I know what I'm looking for over there at the house I'm working on. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna leave it. Try to get a nice even finish that looks about like that. I don't want it streaky. I don't want any spots that are darker than the other spots, or any lighter spots. So this is kind of how I'm gonna do it. Let me get some on here. I want it to be a little darker than it would be if you wiped it clean, okay? We're just going to get a coat on here nicely. Just like so. And we're just going to go ahead and just let that sit there for just a minute. Let it stain the wood as much as it's going to stain it, and then we're going to wipe it gently, making sure it looks nice and even, and we're probably just going to leave it alone like that and let it dry. Okay folks, here's what it looks like after we got our coat of stain on there. I think I got it about the color that I want to. And like I said, I didn't wipe it clean. I actually just made sure I had a nice little even coat on it. And we're gonna let that dry really good, and then we will put some polyurethane on this thing several hours from now. And we'll probably try to get a couple coats on this, and then hopefully we can go and install this piece over at our job site tomorrow sometime. So stay tuned, and we'll show you what it looks like. We'll show you how to put the coat of sealer or the urethane on it later. Okay folks, hey, we're back here on day 2. I let this stuff sit up overnight, and as you can see, turned out really nice. Got a nice even finish on it, nice and dry. I'm going to run my hand across it, wipe off anything that might be sticking to it. It actually feels pretty good here. What I have here folks is a piece of cheesecloth, okay? I don't have a tack rag, but I do have a piece of cheesecloth that we brought from inside the house. And I'm just going to open it up a little bit, about that size right there. And it should be pretty lint free. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of wipe things down as good as I can. If I wanted to, I could do a poor man's way of making some a tack rag, because basically all a tack rag is cheesecloth with rosin impregnated in it. I could actually take a little bit of my polyurethane and mist a little coat over it and let it tack up a little bit and use that as a tack rag. But I am not that heavily concerned with it this morning. I'm just going to wipe it a few times. I think we got it pretty good like it is. I'll actually take my hand and actually kind of wipe it too as well. And then we're going to set this piece up on these 2 cans right here, okay? Because when we start spraying this stuff on here, having it elevated off of here will help keep the overspray from blowing any dust or anything that could be on this surface up onto our work, okay? And we'll go ahead and take and we'll wipe any dust or debris off of our board underneath here as well. Okay guys, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and shake this can of polyurethane up, and we'll put a couple coats on here this morning. Okay, let's get started here. We'll go around all the edges first of all. We'll get this front edge with a light coat. Make sure we got good coverage on that. Go around here on the side. Nice little coat right there. And get this edge here. I'm not going to worry about the bottom of it. I don't necessarily want anything on that. But I will put one coat up against this edge here that will not be seen. We'll just get one coat on there. And now we're going to go ahead and coat the whole surface. So just one light coat, and we'll let that tack up a little bit before putting a few more on here. Just a nice, even, light coat is what we're looking for. All right, we'll let that tack up a little bit. All right, folks, time for coat number 2. Let's go ahead and do it. It's been about 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna put another light coat on here. Make sure we get those ends. We'll get across the front of it one more time. Around here, we'll grab this end. And now we're gonna lay us a nice, even coat across the whole thing. Alrighty, notice I put a little heavier coat on that second time. Alright, so let's let that dry a little bit. We'll see what it looks like, and we'll probably coat it again. Alright, another 5 minutes has passed, and we're going to add one more coat. Alrighty, friends, hey, we're back here with you. We actually put about 5 coats on this thing all total. I didn't film the last 2 coats. And as you can see, we have a nice little finish on here. A nice satin finish, which is exactly what the can said on it. It said it was a satin finish. Now I think the customers are going to be really happy with the way this turned out. We're going to let this dry up for about 24 hours to get nice and hard, and then we'll take it over and install it. And I think it turned out good. Folks, hopefully you got something out of the video today. If you've never stained anything or polyurethaned anything, hopefully my video was helpful for you. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care.